What's up, Renegades? I'm Z, and this channel shows you the world through my lens. Why do I... Oh, I was like, what the heck is going on? Something doesn't seem right. We're keeping that in because this is raw, real, on the edge, unedited. Yeah, whatever. I just forgot to turn those lights on. I was like, why do I look so grainy and blurry? Anyways, yes, Renegades, we are back. Sorry for that clap. Skinner Brother fans, if you were Skinner Brother fans first and then Ren fans, I don't want you to feel alienated. Welcome. We are here to check out the third track. Now, I had a busy weekend. While I've been on the mend and getting better, my son, and this is the curse of the whole preschool situation. My son was like, it felt like was getting better for a couple days. And then the last few days has just been like really unwell, just like super stuffed up, and it's making him not sleep well, interrupted sleep, interrupted nap times, and just, at times just being miserable when he is awake. And, dad's got a dad. So that's why I'm a few days late, but I'm here nonetheless. Now, the overwhelming kind of, sentiment or opinion from the last reaction when I was asking about breakdowns was that, most of you want to watch me try to break stuff down rather than just react. I did see somebody mention, and I think they were making reference to what I did for Vincent's Tale, which I really liked. So if you haven't seen my reaction to Vincent's Tale, it's a long reaction, but basically what I did is I think I put chapters up so people could skip around, but I reacted to the skits, then I reacted to the live premiere, which meant no pausing, so just kind of listening through and reacting. Then I did a breakdown at the end, and it kind of allowed people to choose what they wanted to listen to. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea, but I did see somebody make reference to that's a way I could do it. So I'm a little unsure. So the reason I'm bringing it up is let's talk about it in the comment section for this video. Would you guys prefer if I just went straight for breakdown, or do you like that idea that I did for the Vincent's Tale where I kind of went more in depth and had a few different sections? Let me know. Today we're going to try to, pay attention and break things down, and I am doing a breakdown video of Control-Alt-Delete because I think it definitely deserves one. So that'll be coming out tomorrow. Awesome. Enough talking. Let's jump in. This one is called Truth or Dare. Hey guys, just real quick before you watch the reaction, we are going to mention, I am going to mention real fast Wave of Change. As you guys know, for October, Wave of Change has been running the fundraiser with a bunch of reactors kind of joining in and partnering and trying to raise some awareness and raise some funds for Lyme disease research. And so Wave of Change is partnering with GLA, Global Lyme Alliance. And if you guys don't know what's going on, I have links down in the description below. Just a reminder, this isn't, run by Ren. This is inspired by Ren. So two renegades inspired by Ren's story and him sharing his story have started Wave of Change, and they are running this initiative because of that, which is really, really cool. So yeah, if you guys are able to, the links are down below. There's one link to the website if you just want to get some more information, vet it, check it out. And then there's also a link to the donation page where you can go and donate even something as small as $1. If a lot of us donate $1, it makes a big change, makes a big difference. We don't all need to, donate big amounts. So you guys can check those links out down below, and let's get to the reaction. 3:13 p.m. Oh, so hold on. First of all, we're in the afternoon now, but right away in my comment section, I saw people making reference to the times and saying how the two numbers were adding up to the third number, but looks like we've broken from that pattern. Maybe they knew that that's what you guys were thinking was going on, so they're messing with you. Or maybe we're changing from addition to multiplication now. 3 times 1 is 3. Could be. I don't know. It's your theory. I'm just following along.
Can't lie, I wasn't smiling. Had my back to the wall, no vibes in. I got dinks in my arm, it ain't shining. but we still come through with them top bins.
Turn up the tape and the CD player.
Oh.
Man, not old school, man, are so out there. Machine gun.
Why are we getting such a heavy reggae vibe? I saw in the post from the Skinner Brothers, and I believe I'm trying to learn a little bit more. So it's a band, and the lead vocalist, I think his name is Zach, and I believe he commented on the last video. So it was I greatly appreciate that you checked out the reaction, and that I hope I did it justice. I believe in one of the posts that I saw, it was this thing kind of talking about breaking from the mold of one specific genre. And we are kind of experiencing that from these first 3 tracks. We're only 10 seconds into this one, but like they are all different. I was not expecting that sound.
Smiling, have my back to the wall, no vibes in. I got dinks in my armor, it ain't shining, but we still come through with them top bins.
Turn up the tape and the CD player. Man, not old school, man, are so out there. Machine gun murder, say she don't care. Yeah, is it truth or dare? Good times, bad times, vertigo. Sometimes high and sometimes low. Eye for an eye, that's blow for blow. All fall down like diamond.
Within the song, we're changing styles. I feel like with the reggae kind of vibe, there's another vibe kind of in there. The word's not coming to mind of how I would describe it, but right here we've kind of switched to like a dance type of situation. I don't know if there's a specific, again, term for the genre, but in terms of Ren's lyrics right there, good times, bad times, vertigo, and vertigo is an issue with up and down. And then he goes to highs and lows, and even how he delivers the variation in his voice, giving us the high note and slightly lower note. So that was a cool kind of way for him to have multiple references to up and down.
Times low, eye for an eye, that's blow for blow, all fall down like diamond.
Even dominoes, they're standing up, they fall down, up and down. So everything was good times, bad times. Everything was up and down reference. That was a cool, very well schemed, right? And this is something I mentioned in Control Alt Delete, that Ren is really good at scheming.
Blow for blow, all fall down like diamond.
That's Victus, right? In the video. Oh man, when the horn sound comes in, I had a good friend, and we lost touch years back, which I feel a little bit sad about right now. But his name was Houston, and he was in a ska band, and I'd gone to a couple performances. And it was really fun. I'd never experienced ska before he invited me to one of his performances. And I'm kind of getting that vibe. I would feel like that's the term I was looking for. Yeah.
Let me come in. Can't lie, I heard sirens. We had our backs to the wall, no fighting. Bright left night on the streets of Brighton. Eye for an eye and the world lose sight time. Urukai Titan.
I think that's the second time he said something like eye for an eye. In the previous part, he said something like that, but eye for an eye, the whole world lose sight. And yeah, man, I have a lot to say about that. I'll save it to the end, but let's go.
We had our backs to the wall, no fighting. Bright left night on the streets of Brighton. Eye for an eye and the world lose sight time. Urukai Titan, moving with the shadows of the night time. Swinging in the gallows, point an arrow at horizon. Pull back, shooting at the moon, that's a nightcap. Live forever, suffocate. Turn up the tape and the CD player. Man.
Okay, that was fire. We had again the scheming, right? So he did the Urukai Titan or something like that. Urukai are the bad guys from Lord of the Rings, and he's talking about in the night, in the shadows, and so this is all kind of part of the scheme that he's going for with this Lord of the Rings reference. And it continues. He says something about arrow pointing at the horizon. So again, all terms that are specifically chosen so it matches the scheme that he's going with, and it's very well done. At the end, he says, shooting at the moon, that's a nightcap. So moon is at night. Nightcap is like, having your last drink at night, but like busting a cap, shooting at the moon, cap, night. That was nice.
I'm not the tape and the CD player. Man, not old school, man, are so out there. Machine gun mind, I say she don't care. Yeah, is it truth or dare? Good times, bad times, vertigo. Sometimes high and sometimes low. Eye for an eye, that's blow for blow. All fall down like diamond. Yeah, feel that part. Man, I wanna skunk a bit. Every day I wanna feel that trip. I got the loot in my pocket, no man, you know why. I get it, police on my back, and man, you know why. I got the feeling in my bones and in my head. I think I'll take a trip to California. Say I didn't want ya. Sunshine beaming, depression and torture. Couldn't care what you say though.
I really like that. I'm gonna rewind it just a couple of lines back. But I really like that verse. I think the delivery was fantastic. I think the way he's bending the words to make them rhyme just has a lot of style, and just overall very enjoyable to listen to. Let me pull it back a few lines.
You know I got a feeling in my bones and in my head. I think I'll take a trip to California. Say I didn't want ya. Sunshine beaming, depression and torture. Couldn't care what you say though. I'm so stone age, call me Fred Flintstone.
Hey.
Bang rock pop and a little indie. I'm not real at Wait, let's go from the top, man.
I'm not real like something in Cindy. I didn't hear that
Depression and torture. Couldn't care what you say though. I'm so stone age, call me Fred Flintstone. Bang rock pop and a little indie. I'm not real at Wait, let's go from the top, man. Flip it like James Brown. You get me?
Can't lie, I weren't smiling. Had my back to the wall, no vibes in.
I got dinks in my arm, it ain't shining. But we still come through with them top bins. Yeah. Good times, bad times, vertigo. Sometimes high and sometimes low. Eye for an eye, that's blow for blow. All fall, all fall.
I'm definitely getting those ska vibes. Man, all of these feel like they end so fast. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a sign of a good song. I feel like if you're waiting for the song to end, that's not a good sign. But you get to the end of the song and you're like, oh, it's already over. I wish there was a little bit more. Dope. I think that getting the variety and diversity of kind of like genres and mixing and melding of genres is very interesting, because at this point, whenever I'm going, whatever the next track is going to be on Thursday, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm going to listen to. And that's one of those interesting things that already was the case with Ren. And I think that's one of the influences that he has had on the Skinner Brothers to do this project together, and also kind of break the mold of what might be expected. And that has been very interesting so far. And in this, I feel like we got kind of three genres. I could be wrong. If you didn't hear the same things as me, feel free to kind of share your thoughts down below. But that's the vibes that I got from this track. If we want to talk about the lyrics for a moment, I'm going to kind of zero in on the eye for an eye, because that came up, in the... I don't know if it would kind of be like the post-chorus or bridge. I don't know what we would call that part. And then it also came up in Ren's verse. And we know Ren touches on a lot of these topics, which are not necessarily like mainstream popular topics to talk about, because it's much easier to talk about getting revenge. It's much easier to, yeah, get your payback and, go after somebody. It's a lot harder to take the other road because you understand this concept of why we say eye for an eye, the whole world goes blind, or eye for an eye, all the dominoes, blow for blow, all the dominoes fall down. Like he used a couple different ways to talk about how everybody ends up worse off if we have this eye for an eye, blow for blow mentality. And it's difficult. I mean, if I could share a personal experience, only recently, I think I shared it. It was happening when, I was reacting to one of Ren's tracks, and I was sharing with you guys about my best friend from when I was in high school, Max, and how the person who killed him was up for parole this year. And I haven't said this out loud except for a conversation that I had with my wife, because I talk to her about these things when I'm struggling with something. And at the time when the parole hearing was coming up, you know, Max's mom was like posting in this kind of like support group that we have, on Facebook, and she was talking about this event coming up and that she was going to be going and attending, and how she encouraged people to write letters to, basically dissuade the parole board from granting parole. And I found myself in a very difficult position, because while it was an immense, and continues to be, but it was an immense source of pain and hurt, and sparked a self-destructive period for me when Max was killed. As I've grown older, I think about it a little bit differently now, and I think about how everybody, not everybody, most people, respond to situations in their life by doing what's easiest. Most people, not everybody, but most people. And, in that moment when this altercation was happening, the easier thing for both parties, Max and, the other guy, was to reciprocate the energy and reciprocate the intention to get physical. And in that moment, two people lost their lives. You have Max, who passed away, and you have this other kid who was only, I think, a year or two older than us at that time, basically lost his entire life. I think he got 25 years, if I remember correctly. Something like that. It was a very long sentence. And, as time has gone on, I struggle more and more with this idea that I could never move past this, or I could never, forgive is a challenging word to say. Even now, I'm struggling to let that word come out of my mouth. But I struggle with that. And just because I'm able to talk to my wife about it and work through these feelings and process doesn't mean I've reached a point of feeling content with how I feel, because I'm still conflicted. And everything that has happened since then, that was months back. We know now that his parole got denied, and he has to continue serving his sentence. And to show how conflicted I feel when I saw that news, I continued to have this kind of like dichotomy, this duality of feeling between relief and sadness. And I think it's because the easier thing for me to do is to continue living in, and I can never speak for his mom, I can never speak for his family, because whatever loss I felt, they felt 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more. So it's a different category, right? So I can only speak for myself in this specific regard. But, for me, the easier thing to do would be to continue feeling that anger and continue feeling that hate. And the difficult thing to do is to find a way to reconcile and find a way to, start moving forward. And that's really hard. And, that's why this whole eye for an eye, blow for blow, this whole thing, exists, despite knowing that at the end of the day, conflict breeds more conflict. And we see it on a global scale happening. Forget individuals. We see it on a global scale. People that say, how can, these people come up, organizations come up that want to hurt other people. Well, if we actually, maybe dive in a little bit and research a little bit and check out the history a little bit, more often than not, there is a history of, well, this person did this to this guy. And so in return, his family or his people wanted to get revenge, and they did this to this person. And then it just kind of ends up being this back and forth and back and forth. And more often than not, that is what's at the core of a lot of conflicts. Not all. There's other things involved, and Ren touches on a lot of those topics like greed and stuff, and they play a big part. But I know this kind of ended up being a huge, long kind of, lecture style rant. Apologies for that. Those of you who've been with me since I first checked out Ren, you know that I have a tendency to do this. But I think that's a sign of good music too. Good music or good art. You can probably lump all art into this. If it provokes thought and it provokes discussion and debate, I think that you are creating something that will stand the test of time. Because when it doesn't provoke those things, great emotion and great, conversation, then I think it's going to be like, flash in the pan, lasts what it lasts, and then it's gone. Something else will replace it. So anyways, rant over. 1,000 apologies for how long that was. I will do a breakdown of Control-Alt-Delete tomorrow, so hopefully you guys are excited for that. And then obviously I'm looking forward to Thursday. All right, guys. Well, if you're still here, I greatly appreciate you spending your time with me. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.